Okay, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Carl here, Stage K, back today with the 7th video, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 7th video. 7th video of the X32 compact, whereas today we're going to be covering the bus mixes section, the USB section, and the Talkback section. So we can start with our bus mix left, right. This is where you select where you want to send your audio source from your channel. Either you want to send it to the main left, right bus, pan left and right in your main left, right bus, mono bus, select how much of that you want to send into the mono bus. There's also another way to do that I'll show you later. And your view button for selecting and sending stuff to your aux ends via the screen. There's also another way you can take and send bus mixes to your channels, and that's by send some fader. So if you press R on the matrix section and you press send some fader, you can send whatever input you have selected to the mono center. Or you can select the mono center and send whatever channel you want to send into the mono center. Likewise, if you have your mono center selected, you can send that on faders to whichever one of your matrices. The same goes for the main left, right. You can also select that and select which one of these you want to send them to on the physical faders. Your USB section, pretty straightforward. You plug a USB drive in here. You can store scenes and stuff onto your USB drive. The USB recorder is where you can record a 2-channel track of what's coming out of, well, whichever source you have selected. So on your config screen, you can select between your main left, right, your mix buses, your matrices, your direct out, and what's going to your monitor and Talkback. Now you can also select between different tabs here. In / low cut, that is your actual preamp and low cut only. So only this section. And then it goes straight to your USB. No processing, no nothing. Input / low cut plus mute is also just your preamp and low cut, no equalizing, no processing. But when you mute the channel, or mute the input, it will also mute your or output or whatever. It will also mute the send going to your recorder. Pre-EQ, that means your config preamp, your gate, and your compressor is going to be in your signal chain when it's getting recorded. But your equalizer will not be included. The same with pre-EQ plus EQ. Your EQ is not included. Your preamp and your gate and dynamics are all coming in the signal. But when you mute the output or direct out channel, it will also mute in the recording. Post EQ, that means your input config, your gate and dynamics, and your EQ will all be, your full processing is going to be included in the signal chain going into your recorder. The same with post EQ plus mute, just that here, again, if you mute the direct channel or the output, it will also mute in the recording. Pre-fader, that means you'll have all your processing, but it will be sent to your end inserts, and inserts as well. But it will be sent pre-fader, which means it will be set at the level at which it's coming out of the preamp is the level that you're going to get in the recording. The same with pre-fader plus mute. The same happens with the processing and your levels, but if you mute the direct out channel or output, it will mute it in the signal chain going to the USB recorder. And post fader as well after the fader, which means it will work exactly as it does when you're normally mixing for front to house. All your processing is included, your mute is included, and the level getting sent to your USB recorder is happening after the fader, which means your fader is going to adjust the level at which is coming into your USB recorder. Also here you can do recording trim, which goes from -6 all the way up to +24, which can be handy if you need to trim it. Select between left and right. Select folder selects which folder it records to. That selects which folder shows up in the root. Yeah, it shows selects which folder shows up as a root, if I remember correctly. And then you can set your playback mode to single or folder. Basically in single, it will only play that one track and stop. If you're in folder mode, it will continue to play whatever else you have in that folder which is playable. On your home page, here stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Stop recording or playback. Play or pause playback. Rewind. Fast forward. Record to the USB. Play track. It's pretty self-explanatory. Then we have the monitor section, which to begin with, we can start on the screen. Where you have your monitor section, where you can choose between a few solo options. Exclusive last, that means when this is enabled, whenever you press a solo, that solo is going to press a solo. Whenever you press a new solo, it's going to remove the previous solo. But if you hold solo, then you can solo other solos. But then when you select another solo again, it will then remove the solo on the previous channels. Select solo follow select. That means that if you have solo selected, that solo is going to follow whatever you select. I like to have it the other way around, where select follows solo. So if you do press solo, whenever you press solo, the select will follow the solo. Because if I do solo a channel, then most of the time it is because I want to adjust something on that channel. So because of that, I want the select to follow that. Channel solo AFL, that sets your channel solo as a post fader and pan. Which means whatever this fader is set to is the level that you're going to hear in the solo. Which can be useful sometime, but usually I want to hear the raw level before the fader, just straight out to my headphones, to not have the fader in the way, so I can listen to the direct signal without it being dampened or whatever by the fader. The same Mixbus solo AFL, also after fader. DCA solo AFL, also after fader listen for the DCA groups. Use dim for PFL. Now this one can be very handy, because pre-fader listen is listened before the fader. Now, here is the thing. If you are listening to this pre-fader listen, then if you were to say, for example, set this to left-right pre-fader listen, you are going to literally blast your ears out of the water if you accidentally select that and your phone's level is cranked. So if you are mixing with a LR pre-fader listen, I'd recommend you to turn the phone's level, or turn on dimming for the phone's level, so it will actually dim them when you do pre-fader listen. Source, that is a source trim. Basically turns down or up your trim of what you're listening to. Can use it kind of as you want. And then you have mono, which basically puts your whatever you're listening to into a mono spectrum. Then you have your delay, which basically just, delays the signal, which can be handy if you're doing a delay chain. or something like that. And then you have your monitoring source where you want to be monitoring from for your monitor level and your phone's level by default if you're not listening to any solos. And then, of course, you have your monitor level, which you can adjust your monitor level digitally here before it hits the physical knob. Then you have the Talkback section. Here is where you can select your Talkback settings for Talkback A. So Talkback A by default is your internal microphone, which is here. I have it set to external as well here. But basically you turn the Talkback on. If not, the Talkback won't work. So you turn the Talkback on so you can actually click the Talkback. Then external mic, as I said, is external microphone on the back. Then you have monitor dim A and button mode A. So basically monitor dim is basically when you press your talk button, it will dim your monitoring out by the set amount of level here. And auto dim it. Latching mode, basically, you can choose between having to hold the button to talk or latching it so you can just click the button to talk. I tend to have my talk B latching and my talk A press. So yeah, basically, and then you have your Talkback A destination. You can choose between all the buses, the main left, right, and the mono center. Then you have the exact same settings for Talkback B. Self-explanatory. Oscillator is your noise generator. Basically, this is how you can generate some noise to feed through your PA to check if you have signal somewhere or something like that. So first you have your level at which you generate your level at. Which frequency you want to generate as noise, frequency 1 and frequency 2, and you can take and swap between those two frequencies. So say I can set 1 to 60 here and 1 to say 500. And then you can choose between sine wave, pink noise, and white noise. So I will let you hear the difference between all of these. And we'll start with 60 Hertz on sine wave. Then we have pink noise. And white noise. So you can see this frequencies doesn't really do you much on white noise. So most of the time you'd probably be on sine wave to test actual frequencies. I want that bass. Yeah, there's some bass in there. So that's your oscillator, and then you have your lamp control, which is for your 12-volt dimmable lamp on the back, which sadly I do not have a 12-volt dimmable lamp, so I can't demonstrate this. So yeah, that is the master section, the USB section, and the Talkback and monitoring section of the X32 Compact. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, love would be greatly appreciated, and as always, check the links down below for my socials and all my other channels. And other than that, stay tuned and stay awesome, and stage K the heck out of it.